Welcome, Mech Warriors. I'm Luscious Balzac from FJRD, bringing you week 2 of Tournament of Stars. Uh, yeah, I have a co-caster today. Zane.
Hi, my name is Zane. I'm from 2D20, and more specifically, I'm on Clan Saber Goose this comp.
Hell yeah. Anyways, this is week 2. What's the map rotation look like, Zane?
So we start out on Steiner Coliseum, and then we're going back to the Mech Factory for the first 2v2, which is an Assault and a Medium. Then for the third 2v2, we are going to Boreal Reach, which is a Heavy and a Light. Then the two maps that we're playing the 5v5 drops on are Hellebore Outpost and Caustic Valley. So lots of jump jets on Hellebore, I'm imagining. It's a
One can
very
hope.
vertical map.
One can hope that they bring a lot of jump jets, especially if they're going to be fighting around, what is that, Sigma?
Yeah,
Right?
so Sigma is our live cap for Hellebore, and Theta, Dead Center, is our live cap for Caustic.
Nice. Anyways, for those of you who do not know what Tournament of Stars is, it's a 5v5 tournament. It's player run league. Clan mechs only, clan tech only. Legendary mechs are allowed as a once one legendary mech per drop. That legendary mech can only be used once throughout the matches. Legendary mechs cannot be used in the 1v1s or 2v2s. But
Yep.
for drops 2, 3, 4, and 5, they are allowed. However, you can only bring up to 3 legendary mechs in total, I believe, right?
No, it's just once you burned a legendary, you're done.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that there's any mech that has enough legendaries that you could use all 4 of your allocation of a mech as legendary. And this does include omnipods. So if you use a single scale shot pod on your Viper, it's considered to have burned your legendary for the scale shot.
Gotcha. Um, what other little funky stuff is there with Tournament
You're
of
allowed
Stars?
up to four of each chassis over the 5v5 drops. So you could drop 4 Vipers on drop 2, or you could drop a Viper each round.
Nice. Little side note on the legendary mechs, they have to be purchasable within the in-game store.
Yes.
So no Axum yet, no Seraph, right?
Yeah, no bull sharks, period.
Yeah, no bull sharks. Anyways, I think that's enough chatter. I think we should get down and into the match.
Yeah, both teams have locked up, so let's get into the 1v1, which, as per the rules, is the trial mech fight. So this will be the Nightjeer Hotel trial mech. It's got 2 Gauss rifles and 2 ER larges.
Nice. Now, you said that they have ECM but not stealth armor when we were chatting earlier.
That's correct, yeah. Both mechs, or like the trial mechs, mounts the ECM suite, which means that you won't get picked up by radar or missile locks, I believe, but you can still be target spotted.
Nice. So yeah, we won't have issues with mechs not really being able to spot each other then.
Honestly, though, with the style of match I'm expecting from 2 range traders like this, I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of target locking going on either side.
That is completely fair. I'm gonna go ahead and cover the blue team if that's all right with you.
I will follow DPS.
This is command. Eliminate
Delta
all
Galaxy.
enemies, no matter the cost.
Yes.
Not DP. Wait, why do I
The
have
scoreboard
DPS?
lied to me.
Why do I have DPS? Why
Well, it's the in-game scoreboard, so.
Okay, so he's a DPS pilot. Gotcha.
Like, I think ours says Untonians United, because that's what Yuntao said it too when he made the unit.
Yep. So Nightjeer D over here on the Pokeball, looking out across the map towards the waterfall, trying to get sight, but
Also, Sasha is creeping through the low ground.
Yeah. FJRD here is looking in the wrong direction. Both mechs spot each other, lasers going off. Let's get a little readout on FJRD here. A little bit of internal structure damage on the right torso from a back shot, but nothing too serious. Both mechs staying outside of playing the long-range trade, instead opting to get in close. El Squatcho has the right torso open.
Right CT that's opened up. So very good aim from FJRD to put basically most of the shots on that component and in fact take the arm off.
Now FJRD is open center torso and right torso.
Command to ground forces.
But
We're detecting
FJRD
no more
is
hostiles.
able
Good
to
job,
take
soldiers.
out the left torso on El Squatcho. That's going to be a Hyperion Rocket Raiders win here in drop 1.1. And I'm going to go ahead and update the scoreboard here real fast for everybody.
And very efficient game, 310 damage coming out of El Squatcho, 322 out of FJRD. Just rip the torsos off.
Yeah.
I was expecting a bit more like sneaky, try to use the cover. But no, apparently they're just going to brawl.
I was expecting just range trading from the platforms.
Yeah. So we are headed back to the mech factory. This will look familiar to anyone who watched a week 1 match, as it was the heavy medium 2v2 duel arena.
Yes.
Honestly, it's a shame that Solaris as a game mode seems to have died as quickly as it did, because a lot of the 2v2 and the 1v1 maps are really good.
They're really nice. I especially like that airstrikes and artillery strikes are just completely useless on Mech Factory.
What are you talking about? My brawl charge needs a dope baseline from an arty strike.
But yeah, yeah, should be fun to see what these teams are bringing. We saw last week, since it was the light and medium drop, we saw a lot of warthogs and honestly quite a good number of incubuses. Incubi.
Technically, it's the male version of a succubus.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. I'm imagining we're going to see a lot of stone rhinos.
Really?
Well, like, if you think about the problem with the stone rhino, right? You either run too hot, don't have enough ammo, or you're way too slow. Okay. What if you could mitigate all three of those by being in a 2v2?
That's fair.
On a tiny map, so the fact that you're slow isn't huge. You don't need all that much ammo, because, again, you've only got two opponents to kill. And if you run hot, again, like, you only need to get, maybe 8 alphas out total? If you're running, like, LBX 40 or something?
Yeah. Both teams are green, but nobody's called locks. Should I poke them and see if...
Technically, they get, I think it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And the stream hasn't even gone live yet, so we know we're under 5 minutes since the start of last match.
The stream hasn't gone live yet?
I'm not seeing it as live. Oh no, it's on main. I was looking at MechWarrior 3. The Leagues 3 channel. That's my bad.
Yeah, hold up.
I have checked. The main channel is live with the stream. It is just starting the duel.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, just keep an eye on the stream for me.
Oh, of course. Someone has to keep an eye on chat.
There we go.
It should really bug. Both teams are locked. But we should really bug the comp admins to get mod permissions so that people can bet their potato points on the outcomes of these matches.
Yeah, we should.
It's something we've done on ToS3 a couple times, and it's always been good fun.
I mean, it's always good to get some added participation from the viewers.
Yeah, and you can gamble your delicious potatoes.
So over here on Delta Galaxy side, that's the blue side. Looks like we're getting a Stormcrow Charlie and a Stone Rhino 4. Now, this Stone Rhino has 4 LB-20s, and the Stormcrow has 5 SRM-6.
And on the apologies, on the other side, we have a Stone Rhino 4 at a build I will look at once I can click on them, and a Hunchback 2CA.
Ooh, 2CA.
This is command. Eliminate all enemies, no matter the
Now
cost.
the A variant, is that the one with the DACA, or is it the lasers?
Checking. So it's 6 ER maids and 2 heavy larges, so it is a laser bow.
Ooh. Alright, that's going to be toasty with those heavy larges.
And the Stone Rhino is running what I'm going to call an AC buffet. 3 AC5s, 2 AC10s, and an AC20. All clan UX.
Bud Light kind of blocking Caron's path there for a moment before deciding to hop off the ramp and push up towards the center. Looks like Hyperion Rocket Raiders sitting back, waiting to receive. Delta Galaxy a little hesitant on how they want to progress.
They seem to be very aware that they're trying to do sort of more of a mid range, whereas the other team is trying to do a lot more brawl. Like, just look at the difference in the build between the two Stone Rhinos.
Yeah, the LB-20s versus the ACs. Looks like, who is that? Lord of Death and the Stone Rhino, right?
Yeah, he's going super wide.
Now I wonder if this is going to be beneficial. You know, splitting up like that.
I mean, we saw it from the fact that they had at least one round of UX dumped on them. They probably know roughly where Delta Galaxy is.
Yep. Getting some shots off on Caron here by Lord of Death. And we have the return fire coming back from Caron. Bud Light letting those SRMs rip. Both teams playing very passively. I'm going to switch my angle here.
The last thing you want to do in this sort of mid, if you're the medium mech, is rush in before your Stone Rhino can support you. And realistically, if I'm FJRD here, I'm just going to sit back. I've got ER mediums and LBs and autocannons that number starts with something other than 20. I am more than happy to take this sort of mid-range push.
Lord of Death looking a little beat up there. But it's all superficial. Nothing's stripped to the structure just yet. Ooh,
Oh.
Masaga's getting the left side torso ripped off. CT open in orange.
We've almost
Yeah,
got
that's-
them all.
Down
Clean up
goes
the
self-destruct.
Mossbergs.
We're experiencing some losses.
And down goes
Don't
Lord
get
of Death.
sloppy out
That
there.
is a Delta Galaxy win here. Drop 1.2.
LBX 80 will do that to you.
Yeah, let's get that scoreboard updated. Caron in that LBX Stone Rhino dropping 500 damage. Lord of Death in his AC Stone Rhino dropping 490. Now I'm surprised with how little the Hunchback did. damage-wise. 128 doesn't seem
I
like
mean,
a whole lot, especially when the Stormcrow drops nearly 400.
I was hovering over the FJRD side for most of that match, and in his defense, he probably only got like 3 alphas, maybe?
Oof.
So when he did finally fire his lasers, he had very good tracking, kept his burns on target and all that. He just didn't get all that many opportunities to fire his lasers.
That is fair.
And now we are off to Boreal Reach. AKA Alpine, old polar highlands in miniature.
Ugh, I miss old polar. Can I say that? If I can't, well, too bad. I'm saying it anyways.
Only if I'm allowed to say I miss old HPG.
Ooh, that's a good one. I miss fighting for the pyramid.
I just miss, like, don't get me wrong, I love Rumbles in the Basement as much as the next tier 5 Spud. But there's something like weirdly Egyptian in the like classic sci-fi way of old HPG.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, both teams are locked, so I'm gonna get into this.
So this is a heavy and a light.
Heavy and light. Okay.
Yeah. I'm predicting a lot of onions. You and I will have tears brought to our eyes by these drop decks.
Oh no, not the onions. The Adder's a light, isn't it?
Yeah. The Adder Warthog, which is the one that everyone's been... I don't think it's as amazing as you'd think. Or at least it wasn't as good as we first thought in sort of practice and training. But it's the 14 AP Goss build that everyone has seen running around.
Yep. Over here on Hyperion Rocket Raider side, that's the blue team. We have an Orion 2CC, exactly as you said, rocking 2 LB-10s and 3 SRM-4s, and a Warthog with 14 heavy machine guns, 1 medium pulse.
And on the Delta Galaxy side, we have a Nightjeer Delta rocking an ERPPC and 3 AC-10s, and then a Adder Warthog rocking 14 AP Goss and a Flamer.
Oh. So what's gonna win here? DPS or just straight up pen?
My gut instinct in 2v2s like this is that burst is greater than DPS.
Yep. I will agree with that.
Gut instinct is on Delta Galaxy.
Now, Hyperion Rocket Raiders does have a brawl setup, so they need to close the gap without taking too much damage in return.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like 4 is gonna full send for the other Warthog.
Yeah.
Gets his right torso blown off, so that's half his weapons gone instantly. That's not good.
Yep. And even with the Warthog's really good machine gun fire work, I don't think losing half your guns is a situation anybody wants to be in.
But Shaw B7 is almost cored CT.
25% of the enemies
4
are
goes down.
eliminated. We're taking critical losses. We need you to pull through.
Tundro takes out
All
Shaw.
them all. Clean up the survivors.
Tundro is halved. Missing those SRMs is only down to the LB-10s. Right torso open.
Yeah.
Come in.
And
The Nightjeer cleaned that up.
Can anyone
finishes it.
read?
Nightjeer with those 3 AC-10s ERP landing those shots.
It's very much the sort of classic Pop-Tart build, which I suppose on this map also doubles as your scout.
Yep. Alrighty. Nearly 500 damage coming out from the Nightjeer.
Yeah.
Very, very nasty.
We tried a similar, although less, obviously smaller build on the Huntsman last round that seemed to work pretty well. It was plasma cannons and proto 8s.
Nice. That sounds like it could hurt.
It went fairly well. The problem was that it was drop 1, so it got into a brawl quite quickly. And thankfully, my team was body blocking for me, so I was able to sort of jump jet out and disengage. But entirely possible that match couldn't have gone or wouldn't have gone the way it did. So Hellbore Outpost, like we were saying, lots of jump jets.
Lots and lots of jump jets, especially fighting around Sigma. You have that little rock structure playground jungle gym.
So at least I'm not convinced that the fights are necessarily going to break out at Sigma, just because both teams have to make a very long sprint to get to the far side of the map where Sigma is. And I think we may see some fights break out at what I'm going to call the quick play square, aka Delta 5, Delta 6, Echo 5, and Echo 6.
Oh, you mean at the tree?
Yeah. At that tree ridge line that everybody fights around in quick play.
Okay.
Just because if you want to do any sort of sneaky approach to Sigma, you have to go through that corridor.
That's fair.
Unless you want to go the very long way around, which through either Fox 6, Fox 7, or Charlie 6, Charlie 7, depending on which team you're on.
Now, from that little ridgeline, can you see Sigma? Can you see the cap point?
You can see the cap point. I don't know that you can usefully contest it. I'm fairly certain there's spots where like a small light mech could stand and not be subject to fire.
Okay.
But it does give you pretty good like you'll be able to spot if Op 4 is on Sigma.
Yep.
The downside or upside, depending on your point of view, is that there's basically no cover, or there's very little cover in the 6th line. So trying to push from that ridge into Sigma is a bit of a turkey shoot sometimes.
Yep. But it is lights and mediums, this drop. We only got, 200 tons?
200 tons to play around with, which averages to about 40 per. What we've seen, or what I imagine we're going to see, is a lot of teams just burning all 4 of their Vipers.
Aren't, okay, yeah. Well, no, aren't Vipers, no, they are 40 tons, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking they were like 45 or 50.
You might have been thinking of the Shadowcat, which is 45.
Ooh, maybe.
It is another one I would like to see a lot of on this map.
I mean, you can load it out with a lot of ballistic hardpoints.
Yeah.
Something like 7, right?
Yeah, at 7 and then like 3 energy hardpoints. It's a build from the... You're mostly using the Omnipods from the Mishu Pishu, is I believe how you pronounce it. Mm-hmm. I'm entirely possible I'm wrong. It's a sort of water panther from Huron mythology. It's actually kind of a badass animal if you enjoy reading about monsters in various mythologies.
Hey, you know what? Maybe I'll look it up.
But it can run heavy machine guns and heavy large lasers or some similar sort of nonsense.
Nah, man. Heavy machine guns, AC-20.
I mean, if you can put an AC-20 on a Shadowcat, I just kind of feel like you just put the Shadowcat around the AC-20, like you build it like it's riding the AC-20.
I remember, oh man, what was it? Either last Tournament of Stars or the Tournament of Stars before it, the first one. I remember seeing a bunch of LMG AC-20 Shadowcats. That was funny.
The teams are locked up. Let's see if we see any spicy builds like that going into Drop 2. Pretty decisive drops from Delta Galaxy, though.
Oh yeah, on those 2v2s.
Yeah.
I think they just I think they might have had the better aim. And honestly, with that second 2v2 on Boreal, they won in the mech lab.
The duels are interesting to me because, well, on the one hand, like, yeah, you can lose them in the mech lab, but I feel like it's a lot easier to get a sense of the sort of pilot skill checks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting, like, going into drop 2 through 5, we know that at least on the individual level, Delta Galaxy has been playing better, but can FJRD cohesively, sort of as a pack, make up for that difference in sort of pilot checks? Because being able to like brawl cohesively 5v5 is not an easy thing.
I mean, I come from a FJRD is a known brawl unit, but I don't know. We have been kind of slacking lately with the whole.
No, but
brawl
you of
differentiation.
anybody should know just how difficult like a well coordinated brawl can be, and just how hectic and all that.
Oh, it can definitely be hectic.
Like people talk about the so-called no skill rush, and sure, some people don't have any skill when they do their rush. But a well coordinated brawl push is a difficult thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Usually, when I'm part of a brawl push, it's this is the call: legs. Just shoot the legs on anything that gets close to you.
All right, do you want to take the FJRD side or the Delta Galaxy side?
I'll stick with the blue team. You can go ahead and read off the.
Okay, so on FJRD side, we have a pair of Mistlynx Gs, a Jenner 2C Fury, an Arctic Cheetah Echo, the very, very brawly lights, and then rounding out the tonnage, a single Mad Cat C.
Oh. Interesting. Bringing.
Which is running 2 Gauze and ER Meads.
Yeah, over here on Delta Galaxy side, we have 4 Vipers, one of which is a scale shot, and a Kit Fox Delta. Now that Kit Fox is SRMs, and I'm going to assume that the Vipers are HMGs. Yep. Oh yeah.
So we have a very pure brawl ball coming out of Delta Galaxy, and a bit of a mixed brawl ball coming out of FJRD.
Yep. If you look at the formation, Delta Galaxy has that one scale shot up high at the tree, getting some scouting information, while the rest of the Vipers and the Kit Fox push onward towards Sigma. Meanwhile, Hyperion Rocket Raiders just sort of conga lining straight into Sigma. The Mad Cat looks to be way far back.
Yeah. Left behind.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we'll see.
Now, if I'm NightJRD, I'm probably looking to set up just along this ridge here that gives me decent overwatch into the point, separated enough from the rest of the team that I don't have to worry about getting jumped on in the ensuing brawl.
Yep. Now it looks like the fight is starting. Vipers heading in to fight with Tundro out in front, getting swarmed by 4 Vipers at once, or 3 Vipers and Kit Fox at once. Tundro gets legged, goes down. Let's see. Now Hyperion Rocket Raiders, setting up high and just looks like they went for more of a receive strat.
Mm-hmm.
They got that Jenner with the large lasers. Huh. It's interesting. Yeah. Delta Galaxy now shifting their focus to go after NightJRD and the Mad Cat.
See, this is part of why I'm sort of 50-50 on not just doing pure speed brawl on drop 1. We'll see if NightJRD can pull it off, but I'm really not sure if the tonnage budget gets you enough range trade to be effective.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, like, all 4 surviving members of Delta Galaxy are just jumping on that poor Mad Cat.
Sorry, Marauder. Not
Marauder.
Mad Cat. But yeah, FJRD goes down, taking those back shots. Looks like 4 goes down very quickly, and it looks like this is going to be a Delta Galaxy win. 4 mechs remain. They're all, relatively fresh. And all that's left for Hyperion Rocket Raiders is that Jenner 2C Fury.
It is nice to see the Jenner out and about, though.
It is.
I know that its inner sphere variant is suffering from what we internally call hitbox issues.
Ah, yes. And
which is just that it's enormous.
Yep. Jenner 2C Fury goes down from back shots. And yep, this is going to be a Delta Galaxy win pretty handily, honestly.
Mm. And I'm tempted just to put that down to the Viper.
Yep.
I think it's pretty undisputably the best Clan 40 tonner.
Oh, without a doubt. Alrighty. Looking at the stats here, very low damage from everybody. Which is good. You want to see low damage on these light drops.
Yeah, damage in comp is this sort of weird rubber band where you don't want to be too low. You don't want to be double digit. But you also don't want to be too high because it means you're not dealing your damage efficiently.
Yep.
And I think, at least personally, one of the biggest sort of mental realignments I had to do was getting used to seeing not solo queue or quick play numbers. Especially if it was in a heavier mech and it's like, oh, I should be doing, 500-600 damage or whatever, and then you do 4 and you could have played out of your mind in a 5v5.
Mm-hmm.
But part of your brain's just like, that's not high enough. Number not go up.
Monkey brain say not big enough.
And then there's also the idea that in comp, it's like if you're playing certain heavies or certain assaults, if you're almost more concerned with the damage taken more than the your damage output numbers.
Yep. Because if you're in a Stone Rhino, you want to be seeing at least 800 damage taken.
Yeah.
You want to be spreading that damage. You want to be taking as much damage as possible.
And there is nothing quite as gratifying as seeing when you're playing an assault in comp queue and you see that like 1,000 damage taken and every component missing aside from your CT before you died.
CT and one leg. The head is cherry crit.
And you died to ramming.
Yes.
There's a new golden goose for us. We've already gotten the headshot. Now we need to find somebody legitimately getting death from above.
Okay.
Like dying to the collision damage.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does it have to be like collision damage to the head, to the cockpit?
I think it can be to anything.
To anything, okay.
Like even just ramming into someone Dragon Bowling style.
Okay. I dig it. I hope we get to see it.
I'll admit though, Dragon Bowling was actually entirely after my time. I started playing this game and people talked about tripping and I'm like, wait, what? You could fall over?
Yeah. Yeah, Dragon Bowling sadly was before my time.
But I'm given to understand it was a quirk of one of the Dragon chassis that it was just so upsized and fast that you could just run around and in a lance knock people over. You didn't actually fire your weapons at all. You just ran around and abused hitboxing. And supposedly, the legend goes that they did it to one of the devs so much that he removed it the next day.
See, I've heard that story as well. I've heard that. Actually, there's a video. There is a video out there because I've seen the video.
Yeah, the myth part of that is whether it was he was planning to remove it regardless, or removed it entirely because he got trolled by it and it's in the soup.
I would hope that it's because he was planning to remove it.
Yeah.
Not that developer gets butthurt from players abusing mechanics. But yeah.
So we are waiting on FJRD to lock up.
Yep.
So in the same vein as last week, what mech do you think we're not going to see, but you desperately want to see on these maps?
Mech that I want to see on these maps. On Hellbore, honestly, we already got to see what mech I wanted to see, which was the Kit Fox.
Oh, FJRD is locked up.
But as for Caustic, you know what? Warhawk. I would like to see the Warhawk on Caustic.
The baby direwhale.
Yeah. How about you? What mechs would you like to see on these maps?
I think the Hunchy has just enough jump jets that you can do some interesting things on this map. I'm also a big fan of sort of brawling Hunchies.
Okay.
I get that they're not good. I want to be clear, I don't think they're good. But on the Hunchback 2C Classic, or just the Hunchback 2C 2C, or whatever you're supposed to call it, you can run like LBX 40, you can run like Hag 40. There's a lot of really heavy ballistic builds you can put.
Mm-hmm.
So something like that on this map. Oh, and then we did mention the Shadow Cap already.
Yes. I have a question for you. What's your favorite clan heavy?
It's a toss-up between the Onion and the Timberwolf.
Okay.
Because you see, I played far too much MechWarrior 2.
Gotcha.
Coming in.
Yeah, that'll do.
Capture and hold the resource points.
Alrighty, over here on Team 1 side, that's Hyperion Rocket Raiders. We have a Kit Fox G, Viper F, Viper C, Nightjeer Bravo, and a Mad Cat Mark II Moonwalker.
So, and over on the far side, we have 4 Shadow Cats and an Executioner. One of the Shadow Cats is running 2 ERPVCs. Another one is on machine guns and lasers. The third is on 6 light machine guns and 2 beam lasers.
Okay.
And the fourth and final is on the same. So we have 2 of them running 2 beam lasers and 6 light machine guns apiece. One of them running 2 ER PPCs.
You want to hear an interesting build that's on this Viper?
One sec, I just want to get the build off the XC.
Gotcha.
Executioner is also doing Pop-Tarts, 3 ER PPCs and 10 micros. Go ahead.
So this Viper C, Viper Charlie, just take a guess as to what its loadout is.
LBX 20.
Sadly, no. 8 light machine gun, 5 ER meads.
That's a very long range brawl, like Chewy Viper.
Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like a quick play farmer, you know?
Yeah. I'm curious to see how well these beams work out for Delta Galaxy.
Trying to find a good camera angle, but I just can't find one that encapsulates both teams very well. All right, I guess this kind of works. Nope, because they're gonna be moving. All right, you know what? We're here for now. Hyperion Rocket Raiders making their way into the jungle gym. Looks like they're gonna try to use the cover from the rock formations so that they can peek and poke as much as they want.
And their flank mech, let's call it, seems to have scouted them out by virtue of taking damage from the beam lasers. So they have some sense of what Delta Galaxy is doing.
Foul Hacker and Masagas going and sitting on the point, flipping it under their control.
We've captured resource point Sigma.
Now that Kit Fox is SRMs and the Viper F is regular machine guns, 3 small pulse.
Yeah, that's pretty close to the typical build.
Pretty close, but not quite. Oh, down goes FJRD.
Yeah, he was pushing up in the Moonwalker, and it seems that basically 3 to 4 of Delta Galaxy decided to stare at him with those beam lasers.
Yeah, that's not good. You know, they're down, what, 90 tons now? 95?
95 of a fairly heavy, like, DACA mech, too.
Yeah. El Squatcho dropping down, getting shots off on Bowel Hacker. Looks like Trounce, Corone, and Bud Light are going to be following El Squatcho down into the low ground.
Thing is, all these Shadowcats have machine guns, on top of whatever energy boat nonsense they were doing, so they all can fight to a certain degree.
Yep. El Squatcho self-destructing.
Did you happen to catch if he had lost the torso?
I did not, but I can check, you know. He's over here where a fight is happening anyways. No. He actually blew off both his legs, so he took fall damage. Masagas about to go down. Masagas is down. Looks like the next target call might be Bowel Hacker here, as Bud Light and Corone advance on him.
Bud Light's going to have to take point. The rest of Delta and Delta Galaxy is pretty beat up.
Bowel Hacker is open CT. Now, Bowel Hacker should really be pouncing on Trounce. Down goes Bowel Hacker. It is now a 2v4 situation, not looking all that great for Hyperion Rocket Raiders.
Yeah, Lord of Death is just going to get stared at by those beam lasers.
Yep. Down goes Lord of Death. 4 takes down Trounce.
He's going to make a valiant effort to try to pick up the X-Eater.
I don't know, that Xe just has way too much structure. But with 4 surviving as long as he did manage to get Bud Light to self-destruct.
And that one was a torso.
Enemy forces have Sigma.
Yep. So that was pure overheat damage.
Yeah. The reason I mention it, for those who maybe aren't familiar with some of the quirks of MechWarrior Online's mechanics, if you're in a Clan XL mech and you lose one of your side torsos, you also lose a whole bunch of your heat capacity. which I suppose you also do if you're in an IS, but it's generally a lot more obvious in the clan mechs, because if you're an IS mech and you're running XL and you lose torso, you just die.
Yep. Now, one thing to note here, Corone is almost completely fresh. They did not take much damage at all.
Yeah. Looks like they took a whole bunch of strays.
Yep.
And they're cooking their own legs.
Theta is controlled by the enemy.
But we just need to wait the 5 seconds or so until the Delta Galaxy score goes above 106.
The enemy has capped enough resources. We've failed.
Because apparently coding some way to check if there's enough time for you to actually get the points is not something we can do.
No. Math is too hard. Come on, man. Alrighty. I'm gonna update this scorecard real fast. So win for Delta Galaxy. 5 kills, FJRD with 3. Log the match ID. Looking at the damage numbers, Corone in that Shadowcat Prime dropping 503 damage. It's quite a bit, you know.
Yeah. But once again, we see FJRD going for this sort of, I'm going to call it strong corner, anchor corner maybe, with an actual Mad Cat this time. But once again, like they ran the singleton heavy tonnage, and it just didn't get put in the work for them.
Yep.
I believe we need to get our team swap.
There's the team swap, and off to Caustic.
So maybe not fun fact if you're on FJRD, but fun fact, more members of Delta Galaxy cooked themselves off that match than were killed by Op4. Now, we have checked in the rules. If you self-destruct like that, it still does count as a kill and a point for the opposite team. But I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, there was a big, long discussion about that in the MWO comp server. Which, honestly, yeah, kind of funny.
I'll admit, I'm not a big fan of the deny meta.
Of the what meta?
So it's deny is a term that comes out of Heroes of New Earth, I think, which is a Dota clone.
Okay.
But it's the idea that in those games, if you team killed, you could deny the opposite carry the gold from the kill.
Ah.
So in this context, if they didn't get the point for a team kill or a self-destruct, there would be a certain impetus on your team to kill you before the other team could kill you.
That's fair.
To deny the points.
Yep. Oh, man. Ugh. True that, Zane. At least we don't have to swap servers this time.
Like, I appreciate that if you're playing from somewhere in Oceania, so like Australia or even EU, that the ping times to Vancouver, because I'm 90% that's where the NA servers are, can be quite ridiculous. Changing the region, remember you change region each time can be a pain in the ass.
Yep. Changing servers, swapping sides, like side side swapping, yes, it's a pain. Yes, I do wish that there was just a simple side swap button that literally swapped the sides for us, but I know that, writing code.
At least we got the drop swap.
Yeah, at least we have the function to drag and drop to swap sides.
Yeah.
We don't have to remake the lobby.
Or can you imagine if you had to put them into empty?
Oh my gosh. Full teams, that would be impossible.
Yeah, you'd have to wait for someone would have to leave.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah. No. I will say, like, having the side swap after each drop, is it annoying? Yes. Is it useful? Also yes. Because it just it fits a pattern. After each drop, swap sides.
The only the argument to me is it's easier, I think, on the new players to understand just swap each time.
Yeah.
Personally, as someone who's spent enough time playing comp to sort of get the pattern of things a little bit, I'm rather fond of the way ISC does it, where you swap every second drop.
Okay.
So you'll be, and I think you swap after drop 1. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you'll either be AABBA or ABBAA.
If I remember correctly, it was AABBA.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correct. No, that's wrong. Is it wrong?
But the point is that you either swapped maps or you swapped sides.
Yeah.
Oh, both teams are locked up. We're into our first Caustic Valley drop.
So this is drop 4.
375 tons of mech action coming to you live. As sponsored by the MWO Comp Team. They didn't give me a slogan or an ad read here, so I'm going to make one up for Potato. They're starchy and delicious.
Thank you.
And in fact, a tribute to our capacity to domesticate plants. Because the potato is not natural. We have bred the potato to be the glorious, glorious breakfast staple it is today.
Do you remember if Team 2 is the north side or the south side?
Team 1 is the north side.
Team 1 is the north side.
Or, sorry, Team 2 is north side. So Team 2 is near Kappa Sigma. Team 1 is near Gamma Epsilon.
Gotcha. All right.
Which are all the points you should ignore, because the center point is the only valid one.
The fight at Stonehenge. Yeah.
So you're over on the blue team side?
I am indeed over on the blue team side. Here we go. Teams are loading in. Over here on Team 1 side, that's Delta Galaxy, that's the blue team. We have 3 Night Jeers. 1 is a B, 2 are H's, so that's B as in Bravo, H as in Hotel. A Huntsman P, is that the packet?
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't say packet, just says Huntsman P. But anyways, and a Stone Rhino K for Kolos.
And on the FJRD side, we have Lord of Death in the Stone Rhino 7 with 10 ER larges. And we have Night GRD with 2 Goss and 5 ER larges. Biohacker in the Vapor Eagle 1 with 3 ER PPCs. Outlaw Hunter in the Scroll with 3 ER PPCs. And
is controlled by the enemy.
4 in a Shadowhawk. Sorry, a Shadowcat.
With
2 ER PPCs.
Okay. These Night Jeers are two of them are Hag 30 ER large. The Colossus is double Hag 40, 2 ER large. The Nightgear H on El Sasquatcho is 2 regular Gauss rifle, 2 ER large. And the Huntsman P is 4 ER Meads, 2 large pulse.
That's not the packet then, because even accepting the Huntsman's an Omni-Mech, you can put whatever you want on it. The packet's a missile boom typically.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the Prime.
Could be the Prime, but then wouldn't it just say HMN Prime?
That's when we find out that all 3 are valid Huntsmen. The Hunchman is what you call when you take a hunchback torso and stick it on Huntsman legs, which is a thing you can do in the tabletop game.
For real?
You can make Frankenmechs, yeah.
Nice.
So lots of blue laser trading.
Lots and lots of blue laser trading. Lots of hags being shot off. Ooh.
And poor Trounce is not having a good time with it.
Yeah, I just noticed his percentage. CT open, left torso open, 2 touch on both those components. Actually, no, make that CT more of a 3 touch.
Meanwhile, most of the damage on FJRD side has been concentrated on those 2 stone rhinos.
Looks like Lord of Death taking the brunt of the damage more so than Nightgear D.
Looking at Lord of Death though, that's mostly self-inflicted.
Oh yeah.
With 10 ER larges, if you mouse over him, it's almost all internal damage.
Yeah, no, he cooking. Just listening to these hags go off.
They do have a very satisfying sound, even if they're not the most satisfying weapon to use. But yeah, FJRD just trading really well. Between the Stone Rhinos and then looks like both Bowelhacker and the Scroll were able to get a little bit of a flank before getting chased off. Just good trades.
Looks like Bud Light in the Stone Rhino Colossus, pushing up, trying to close the distance, it looks like, or at least get a different angle. El Sasquatcho here, 45%. CT open, both side torsos open. CT is 2 touch, 3 touch. It's a deep orange, but not red
Resource
yet.
point Theta is ours.
They are able to sneak Theta though, because that Kolos tanks a few Gauss shots.
So let's see, that's about what? 2 minutes worth of cap time to reach Hyperion Rocket Raiders ticket counter. So we got time. Ooh, down goes Outlaw Hunter.
I'm actually about to say the damage on FJRD is very, very well spread. So once they start dropping, they're going to start dropping very quickly.
Yes.
And if I'm Nostra in that packet or in the Huntsman, I might be sneaking up and trying to get some nice caps.
Yep. Trounce goes down. Or sitting over here, almost on a flank, but pushed up very far. Looks like Bud Light here might be coming to get 4. Ooh, missing all the hag.
Got him that time.
That he did. 4 has no weapons. He's a stick. El Squatcho going down. Yeah. Hyperion Rocket Raider's looking very beat up. Yep. Bow Hacker goes down very quickly.
RD Strike dissuades the push.
Now, Bud Light in that Stone Reiner Colos is pretty fresh, honestly. Oh, never mind. That
He
red,
was pretty fresh.
He was pretty fresh. That right torso went from like yellow armor to gone instantly.
Yeah, that would be Lord of Death with the 10 ER larges.
What do you do? Just alpha?
I was gonna say, if you're willing to make some sausages, shall we say, you can put out a lot of Alpha Strike with that many ER larges.
Well, let's go get closer to Lord of Death as he pushes up.
Yeah, Bud Light hasn't realized that 4 is a stick. He's still respecting him.
Yeah, Lord of Death, both side torsos open and deep orange. The Huntsman, P. Calegro Nostra. You know what? I pronounced it first the first time.
Calogero.
Pushing on for, forcing him to back off from his cover, and Bud Light takes him out. Nostra getting his right torso taken. Ooh, down goes Lord of Death.
Yeah.
It is now a 1v3. All the mechs are pretty beat up.
Like, NightJRD does have a very commanding position here, and Gauss rifles.
All he needs is to land his shots. Now, he still has to burn through the Bud Light's left torso if he wants to get a clean kill. Otherwise, he has to burn through a lot of armor and a lot of structure in that CT.
He's in the right mech to do it, though. Like, one thing we've seen with the Stone Rhinos is that their downside is their speed. They're very heavily gunned, they're fairly heavily armored. They're just slow.
I think NightJRD here has about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to make a decision on how he's going to let this match play out.
Yeah. The goon squad starts around the corner.
Caligero getting that Pop-Tart shot off on NightJR.
Mm-hmm. He's in Stone. He's into Stonehenge.
Caligero getting those shots off on.
Gets the torso.
Oof. Not good, not good. Now it looks like Delta Galaxy just simply collapsing on NightJR, ending him, getting the win.
Yeah. It looks like it was going very well for FJRD for a while there, but the Pop-Tart beats Traders, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty well known. Just because Pop-Tart beats Laser Trader.
Yeah.
Right? If you're good at Pop-Tarting, you're not gonna be above your cover for very long, right? Whereas,
I just want to call out a very impressive 1,000 damage from NightJR in that Stone Rhino.
Yeah, very impressive. Well done.
But yeah, ideally, if you're Pop-Tarting, you're only above the cover long enough for your weapons to cycle.
Yep. And when you're going up against lasers, you know, They can't get that full burnout.
I throw my entire 15 damage ER Gauss ball at you. You throw 2 seconds of laser burn at me.
I'll take that trade.
As we move into our final drop of the night.
Drop 5. Caustic Valley. Will FJRD Hyperion Rocket Raiders be able to squeeze out a win here on the final drop?
Now, this is maybe poking the bear a bit, but where do you come down on the config?
I'm against it.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, you can edit the game's config file. This is where it saves stuff like your audio levels, video settings, and all that. And one of the things you can tweak is the entity draw count, which is how many visual effects the game tries to put on your screen at once. If you have a very low-end machine, you want this number to be very low so that the game's not trying to draw smoke effects, gun flashes, whatever. Turns out you can set it to 0 and remove all of the smog effects that we see here on Caustic Valley.
Now, me, I have a hard time believing that some of these that some players really need the config files, because me, I'm playing and I'm casting on a low-end machine. My machine has not received a hardware update since 2014. And at that time, so my processor is a i5 4670K. My graphics card is an NVIDIA 660, right? I have a very low budget build now.
Teams are locked up. So
And
I come down 2 ways about it. I've read the reasoning for MWO comp, and I'm willing to accept it. Personally, I would have limited it to factors that you can change through the in-game client, because I like sticking to you have to be able to modify it through the client. You don't have to like dig through your files and pull up the config.
Yep.
But the ruling is that setting the entity draw count to 0, or whatever it's actually called, is perfectly fine. Which I mention it because we did see a lot of blue lasers going through smoke and hitting their targets.
Yeah. See, I'm against the config files for stuff like that. Right?
Now, I know it used to be possible. I don't know if it still is, but I think it's night vision gets rid of it. Thermal. At one point, especially on old Caustic, you could trigger one of the view filters and actually see through the smoke.
Yeah, you can kind of see through it with night vision right here, right now.
Yeah.
But heat vision, no. There's no way.
And to be clear, night vision, we mean the green scale one. Heat vision, we mean the grayscale one that makes the mechs glow brighter as they heat up, which is a really neat thing that not many people think about.
Yep. But yeah, configs, players with the newer PCs, I don't see any reason to use configs for them. Anyways, let's get into discussing this match. Over here on FJRD Hunters of the Fjordland side, we have a Stone Rhino 7, two Orion 2C skulls, a Direwolf C, and a Stone Rhino 1. On the Stone Rhino 7, we have 10 ER larges, Direwolf with 2 Gauss 4 ER large, Stone Rhino 1 with 2 Gauss 5 ER large, skull with 3 ER peeps, and the second skull with 3 ER peeps.
And on the Galaxy side, we have 2 Marauders running ER larges, 2 ER larges, and 2 Hag 30s. We have a Kodiak 3 running 4 AC-10s and an ER PPC. The final Marauder is running 2 Gauss rifles and 2 ER larges, and the Gargoyle is running 4 ER Meads, 2 ER larges, and 8 micros. And hey, a Gargoyle.
Gargoyle!
Not the loadout I was expecting. I'm used to getting 2d20'd by Dive, who's leading the sort of 2d20 A team this year, in a speed brawl gargoyle. But this one is set up for sort of range trading.
Lots and lots of blue lasers spanning out across the map.
Yeah, we do see a bit of a mid-range from Bud Light here, though. Like the AC-10s on Kodiak, and then the Hag 30s, those aren't pure blue laser trading loadouts. And Outlaw Hunter here taking a lot of fire.
Who's this right here? FJRD in the Stone Rhino 1. Okay. Has an artillery strike on him.
And it looks like Trounce is once again taking the majority of the fire for the Galaxy, and then for FJRD, Lord of Death has been the called target.
Got to get that Stone Rhino with the 10 ER larges off the battlefield.
I mean, if you can get it off the board, that is a lot of gun.
That is a lot of gun and a lot of armor. Now, I wonder if the damage he is doing is enough to warrant the cooking that he has sustained.
Ooh. Honestly, I don't think so. As Outlaw Hunter took just too many shots to the CC, or the CT there, and got drilled through. I feel like there's a sweet spot, which is, for me, feels like it's somewhere around 6 ER larges, where if you try to boat any more, you're not going to be able to trade with them in a way that's heat effective.
Yep.
And, you know, I could maybe see 8 if you have an HSL that allows you to fire 4 at once. But once you get much beyond 6, you're not going to be able to alpha or half alpha, whatever you want to call it, effectively. Like, there's not enough heat cap.
Tundra being the focus of fire.
Once again, we're seeing really nice damage spreading from Delta Galaxy.
Lord of Death in the center of the map on Theta, just getting ripped to shreds right now. Yep, there goes both side torsos. Lord of Death goes down. It is now a 3v5.
Yeah, that's the Hags again on the Marauder.
Looks like 4 is going to do some repositioning.
Yeah. I've checked through. A lot of Delta Galaxy is pretty beat up, but with the exception of Bud Light, nobody's open anywhere particularly worrisome.
So they've just been,
They've been coordinating their duck popping up, I guess you would call it, really well.
FJRD is self-destructing from overheating. No bueno.
I mean,
2v5.
That's kind of what I'm getting at as far as the Stone Rhino build goes.
Now, Delta Galaxy does have the number advantage. They can simply just push and win.
Theta is controlled by the enemy.
Or they just take the point and wait. But it looks like they're going with the more fun option, which is push and win, as they collapse on 4 here.
Bud Light does have that right torso open. Orange structure.
They're also a little worried about getting hit in the back by Tundra. Like, it's a trading direwolf. It's maybe not the highest DPS, but 2 Gauss rounds, or the highest burst, but 2 Gauss rounds and 4 ER larges will hurt.
It will. Down goes Tundro. Or here trying to pick up a kill on Bud Light, but is unable to secure the kill.
The enemy has capped enough
And that's
resources.
GG. That's going to be a 5-0 sweep for Delta Galaxy against Hyperion Rocket Raiders here. Drop 5.
Very, very commanding win from Delta Galaxy.
And update the score.
Not only did they win, 5-0, the clean sweep, but they had most of their mechs alive at the end of each match.
Yep. And it looks like that's going to be a match win for Delta Galaxy. Score is 29-8. Wow.
Thank you once again to MWO Comp. Thank you to Mr. Bear for organizing the tournament and coming up with the idea. Thank you to Karnofsky and the rest of the MWO Comp admins for making this a thing that we can do.
Oh, yeah. And thank you, Zane, for co-casting with me.
Thank you, Lush, for having me.
Of course. Anytime. Looking at the Shoutcaster sheet, we have another match coming up here on MWO League's main channel in about, well, right now for me it would be about 40 minutes. So by the time the viewers hear it, about 35 minutes. So, feel free to come back, everybody.
Who's up?
It will be FJRD Declassified versus Raptor Talons. That's a Division D, as in Delta, matchup. The caster will be yours truly, me, Luscious Balzac. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by, giving these teams your support, supporting us casters, supporting MWO Comp. If you want to learn more about Comp or about MechWarrior in general, visit the MWO Comp Discord. There's a lot of great resources, a lot of great people to talk to, pick their brains about builds and whatnot. So, if you're looking for information, looking to get better, visit the MWO Comp Discord. Link is going to be provided in just a moment.
And I swear by the next one of these, I will know my mechs better.
No worries. Just gotta pull up Twitch here. Mute. Oh, mute. There you go.
Oh, I got eaten by the bot.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, whatever. I tried.
Honestly, I think it's linked. It's linked in the channel description.
Oh, well, there you go.
If you go down, there's a little button.
Yeah, just go down into the channel, this Twitch channel's description. Find the MWO Comp Discord invite link and come join us. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this match. Great job, Delta Galaxy and FJRD Hyperion Rocket Raiders. Look forward to seeing how you guys all perform throughout the rest of this tournament. That being said, I'm Luscious Balzac from FJRD.
And I'm Zane from 2D20.
Keep it easy, but most importantly, keep it luscious.